What is up, everybody? I got the war dog here, Bentley. He decided to come up here and hang out, and then he decided he didn't want to be up here anymore. But anyway, welcome to the original art showcase for Warline #1, which is currently up on Kickstarter. Do me a favor and click on that link, and if you haven't yet, make your pledge. If you've made your pledge, then share this out. We got a great show for you guys this evening. Who we have here as our guest is a sequential artist for Warline. And I'm sorry I'm a little late because between Dexter getting his stuff set up, I was actually reading a bedtime story to my kid, which was this book right here, Miles Morales, Spider-Man #5. We just completed this arc, and now we got to hunt down the Carnage Reigns arc so that we can get all that together too. So we were reading some comics and getting ready, and I wanted to make sure he had a good night experience before we go on. But before we bring on our guests here, I just want to point out a couple of things. That the artwork we're going to show you guys tonight is currently up on our Kickstarter campaign. And when you guys pledge to get this art, not only are you getting a one-of-a-kind piece of art that you can frame and hang up in your house, but it's also key stuff here. These are pages that are first appearances of characters in the book. And this is going to be a series that I'm going to be pushing for a long time. We got a lot of stuff planned for Warline. If you guys know how I've been pushing Yi Sun-shin over the years, you'll soon come to understand that the deals we're offering on this original art are one of a kind. But you're not just helping out the campaign, you're also helping out the artists. And the money that we're raising for this campaign is going towards keeping the book going. So you'll see the link over there. You can click to make your pledge. It is a big ask. I understand that. So it's really kind of like for you original art collectors out there, someone who would really want to own a piece of this, maybe not even an original art collector, but someone who really feels a connection to Warline and really wants to be a part of this process and really wants to own some of the work that went into it. And without further ado, I'm about to bring Dexter in, and we're going to talk tonight about his process. He's going to show off the artwork for you guys. We're going to have a little conversation about it and what went into it. And it is now my pleasure to welcome Warline and Yi Sun-shin's artist here. Hold on, let me just unmute his mic here. And we got him right here. Dexter, welcome. How are you, sir?
Hello, I'm doing good.
You got all serious for a second. Are you always this serious when you're drawing?
Yeah. Always.
That's good, man. That's awesome. So, Dexter, I guess we'll open this up to anybody who has questions. So if anybody's watching right now and wants to ask Dexter any questions at all about Warline, you can go ahead. But one thing I want to just point out is for anybody that makes a pledge for Dexter's original artwork, which he's going to showcase here, I'm going to throw in some extra goodies for you. So once this campaign's over, and assuming we sell all of those original art pieces, which is our goal, what Dexter's going to do is he's going to, I'm going to pay Dexter, and then he's going to package up all those pieces of art, and he's going to ship them to me in the U.S. Once I receive everything, I'm going to send it to you directly. And I'm not just going to send it to you directly, I'm going to include some extra goodies for you too. The first of which is going to be these numbered prints of Warline #1, not Warline #1, the first original Warline sketch. So when Dexter was actually coming up with character sketches, these were the original images that I gave him as reference. And I will hook everybody who makes a pledge for the original art up with one of these prints here. With two of these sketches here. They're signed and numbered. Plus you get a copy of the 1A cover and all that along with the original art for the book. So Dexter,
yes.
Show us something and tell us how you're doing tonight. Most important.
Well, I'll show you that first.
So this page right here, which is actually one of the final pages that we worked on for Warline #1. I really appreciate how this turned out. How do you work? Like, tell us about your process. Like, how do you put these pages together?
Uh, well, I just base it on your script, and then I try to visualize it, and then put it into pencils, make a draft. The hard part is doing the draft actually, the rough, because that's where you try to imagine how you're going to fit all the pieces together. So it's like a director doing a movie. Once you have the script, and then you need the storyboard. So uh, that's basically the hardest part in doing a comic, where you try to make everything blend together harmoniously. So what I do is do a draft first, the pencils, and then let you approve it. And once it's approved, it's basically simple. I don't tighten my pencils anymore because I'm the one doing the inking. So unless somebody's doing the inking, I'm going to tighten the pencils and make it very detailed. But since I'm the one doing the pencils, it's just basically just draft only, and then I do the details directly with inks already. Then I put the blocks using brush. Where are the brush? I have brush here. Oh, so sorry.
Technical difficulties. There we go. See, and you thought that this show wasn't without its share of surprises. There we go, guys. It's as exciting and exhilarating as the book itself. Is your volume working? Oh, okay. Hold on. I think I muted him, or he got muted. Okay. It looks like you chose to mute yourself. So just give it a second. We'll be patient with you and take your time. And we actually got you're still muted, Dex. I don't know what's going on. It could be something on your phone. Here we go. You're in. And we got a question for you too from Kurt, who's one of my good friends. He's asking, Dexter, how often does your vision match Henri's?
How often? That's much. That's much often. Actually, uh, Henri and my relationship with Henri is that I follow uh, what what Henri wants. Henri has that. What I like about you is because you're a visual writer. No, you can picture what you write, so it's very easy for me to interpret it. So sometimes, if you give me the, sometimes if there's a, what do you call that? Uh, uh, if there's a space for me to interpret my own, I do that, and then you give your own suggestion. So it's a collaborative process.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to point out, Dexter, I'm going to put the focus on you again as you just hold up this art. So I remember a personal story. This is a total behind the scenes. So you guys see the city here. This is Sector 2687. This is where our story takes place. And if you notice all the little details in the artwork here, Dexter was actually working on this when his wife was in the hospital delivering his son, if I'm not mistaken. I remember when she was in labor and Dexter was sitting there waiting for hours, trying to meet this deadline for me and working on all the little buildings that you see in the in that first panel over there. Just really going in there. And you know what I was actually thinking, Dexter, while you were working on this? I was thinking to myself, Dexter, you don't need to put all that detail in there. I mean, it's just the city, and it's all good, and we'll have the colorist add in all the other details. But no, he went in with all those painstaking details in every little part of the city. So Kurt's saying, Dexter, you're a good artist. I like your stuff, buddy. And Kurt always talks about how much he likes your stuff, and I'm really looking forward to folks seeing what you do on Yisung Shen once we bring you on for that. You've really done such incredible work with Warline. And this is the very first page of the book, one of the last pages that we illustrated. And it is not only the first appearance of the city where the story takes place, but Dexter, can you show the overseer? Just move it over there. It's just that panel with the overseer. It's also the first panel of the baby, first appearance of the baby. We got the first appearance of the Overseer on this page, the main villain of our story, who's going to be a main character, you know, a pretty central presence throughout the entire series of Warline. And you got the first official appearance of him. It's kind of small. It's a thumbnail. It's not like a big page, but there it is. It's right there for you guys. So this is a pretty key moment in the story. Another thing I really like about this page too is if you look at the shape of the city, it's actually shaped like an eye. And if you could move that back, Dexter, so we can see the building again. Not the building, but the landscape of the city. If you look at how the city is drawn, we drew it like an eyeball. Because the idea is that the Overseer is the dictator who sees everything. He's always watching you. And what we did in the actual finished book, I'll show you guys the finished artwork of the book. We made some minor adjustments to what Dexter did here, and it had nothing. It was more of a stylistic choice here. But if you can see in the finished artwork here, we made those little inset panels more circular so that it would be like he was looking through everything. Now, according to my direction, I actually did it a lot differently in my original layouts, which I think I still have them here. So what Dex was saying was that I'm a very visual writer, so I actually draw out the layouts for him. And there are times when we try and give Dexter more control. Actually, that's something that Chuck Pino wants me to do more often. Is give Dexter the ability to come in and do stuff. And it's not that I don't trust Dexter. Dexter, honestly, I think you have a very strong sense of sequential art and an idea of, you know, what works and what doesn't. It's more about just the idea that I just see things in a very particular way, and you do such a wonderful job of not just taking those ideas, but then elevating them. And you guys will definitely see a lot more of that in Warline too. There are some pages there where Dexter just elevates his style and everything. Unfortunately, my iPad decided to update right now, so I'll show you guys that piece of art in just a second here. But so we got that piece up on our Kickstarter still, and again, it's a one-of-a-kind piece. So you can there's only one of them out there. And if you own it, it's yours for good. And Dexter will probably be more than happy to sign it or provide some sort of authenticity certificate or something like that. But we have it right here for you guys, and that's it. There's only one of them. So that is that.
I can add a Warlion sketch. They like.
Oh, you could do a Warline sketch. So he'll include a Warline sketch too. Look at that.
This page 1 and
yeah. And if you want, you can show off page 2 now. Yeah. So page 2. This page was interesting. So the way Warline originally opens up was with a pretty intense scene that I ultimately felt didn't really bring us into the story. And I actually have to thank Ted Sikora for pointing that out when I showed him an early draft of the script of the lettered book. He was like, these first 2 pages, he's like, I don't feel like that's your starting point. I feel like page 3 is your starting point. And I'm like, but it's not the starting point. So I was really agonizing over this, and I spoke with Chuck about it, and I was like, we need a new page 1 and page 2. And it was actually Chuck Pino's idea to have the page kind of be like a reflection of Warline looking over the city, which I really didn't want it to be a typical comic book page. I wanted it to feel different. And we actually referenced some different pieces of art that we were looking at. This was actually kind of inspired by a Daredevil cover. And in that cover, you see Matt Murdock walking on the streets in a puddle, and in the puddle you see the Daredevil, or I think it's the reverse. And the Daredevil is walking, and in the puddle you see Matt Murdock. But I felt like this really kind of brought together the idea of the story. And there's a real dichotomy here that once you finish reading Warline #2, you're really going to appreciate this page on a whole new level. Not only that, this is also the second page that was, or the last page that was rendered for issue 1. So we did the whole book. We had to create a new page 1 and page 2, and this is our page 2. So this is the final page made for issue 1. But ironically, it's also the first appearance of Warline and Kia. So this is the original first page of that. And Dexter, I guess when I was asking you questions earlier, what I wanted to know was what kind of like, where do you get your paper? What kind of like pens do you use? Like what kind of like, can you show us the tools you use? And yeah.
So paper, basically, I just order it online. It took quite a while to figure out what kind of the paper that best fit for War Lion. So now I know it. I use Bristol board, vellum, smooth surface. Use 11 by 17. 11 by 17. So basically, the pencil, just any ordinary pencils or technical pencils. Just use this. And then for the ink, I use uh, what do you call this? Micron. Either Micron, something like this. This is another Micron black.
Are
Sometimes
these pens and markers and everything, are they available readily in the Philippines?
yeah,
Or, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Before, kind of find it hard to look for this kind of pen here since I live in the province. But now, because of technology and online stores, I can just order it online if it's not available here in the city. Then I also use this white pen, the white like this water ripples here.
Oh, that's
This is
so
what I
cool.
use.
You use white to go over your blacks.
It's a gel pen. It's a gel pen. Sometimes I use this one.
Mm-hmm.
I just dip it.
You dip it in there. That's cool. So I noticed you've been posting lately. You have these really cool, like Marvel sketch cards. Do you show those up for us? Do you have them around?
I cannot show it yet publicly because we don't have no signal yet.
All right,
One that can
we
show
got
it.
another question. Oh, go ahead.
Ah,
You were saying
I,
something?
it's not here anymore, but I did several commissions. But I already sent it. So
Awesome.
when I have the signal, I can post it online.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So just follow Dexter. He did these really cool sketch cards, and they look really badass. So we got another question for you from Kurt. He's asking what your favorite page or spread that you've done for Warline is. And I think I know the answer to it.
Yeah. Well, I did one for issue 2. Maybe for issue 1,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
really like the poem.
You can show it off. It's okay. I think it's something for anybody who's tuning in and watching this. You're about to get a nice preview of something that's going to be in issue 2. But Dexter, please go ahead and show us. Go since you're so proud of it.
Wait,
Because I want to say too, this is a page where your ingenuity really came into play here, and you really kind of like took the bull by the horns.
oh my, where is it?
That's okay, man. Take your time. He really took the lion by the tail there.
Wait,
And it was actually what's really cool about this spread here is it's the first double page spread that you'll see in this entire series. But this is it right here, guys. You are getting a sneak peek of Warline #2 here, and it's a pretty spoiler-free, page, kind of. I mean, if you read issue 1, you kind of know where it's heading. But Kurt, I think you'll appreciate that page a lot. So this is from Warline page or Warline #2. And Dexter, tell us a little bit about this because I remember you were really proud of this when we did it.
Uh, as an artist on my part, it's really hard to draw spread pages. It's not really that hard, but yeah, it's more laborious because you have to scan it several times, and then I have a small scanner. The good thing I love about this art is because you gave me a big space to play around. See, with only three panels on the top, small panels.
Dude, the black and white version of this looks so freaking amazing that I like almost don't even want to like I don't even want to color this. It just looks so fantastic. It is such a work of art, man. And if you guys just wait until like you see what we've done with this entire book, issue 2 is just going to be a complete blood fest. There's just so many fight scenes, so many great moments in issue 2. And that's going to be like, the real meat of our first arc here. But there you have it. That's a little spoiler. I'm not going to say what happens. You can see here that Crisis and Warline are about to hug and kiss. They're about to take off their shirts and kiss, and that's what Dexter's drawing here in great detail.
I also like this cover.
Oh yeah, dude, this cover was badass. I love what you did.
This one, I drew Kia separately.
Yeah, he had to layer Kia on top. So if you guys have seen, I'll actually pull that version of the book out. That's a fairly popular image that we've used. And Dexter, I remember when you worked on this, you were talking about how one of your friends or somebody was telling you to use that as like a banner for conventions. And so here's the actual artwork for that. And so what Dexter did there, because this is actually page 35 of Warline number 1, and you see it right there. And Dexter originally had just this art on that page, and then we added the extra panels there after the fact, just to kind of break up some of the storytelling a little bit and make it flow a little bit easier. So we added those panels afterwards. He drew them separately and layered them on top at the bottom. And then we decided to flop it. And then when the time came to actually print this, and this is for the original version of the book, we had him add Kia on there and he layered her on top. And this was all done like, man, I think he did that in like a day, like less than a day. Like it did not take long for you at all.
Yeah, it kind of looks complicated, but actually it's really easy to do and fun to do because you don't have to think. You don't have to think any. You just let it flow. Just let your pen flow, imagination flow. Just draw a lion and.
Well,
I like drawing.
Here is something I do have to ask you though. So like, you have to have a lot of Photoshop experience with what you're doing, right? I mean, or Illustrator or something. I mean, like, how are you? I understand that like you can draw and scan everything, but then adding the layers on top of everything, like it's pretty precise work.
For Photoshop, I really don't have any formal training with it. So I graduated psychology, and then when I work in a retail store, they have a art department there doing advertising. So I was always there looking, watching, and then learning. So that's how he do it. So that's how he do it. So in my office, I installed those old Photoshop. I don't know what version is that. Those old Photoshop in the early 2000s, and that's where I learned cropping like that. So it's very useful in doing editing for traditional comic book. So I'm not really a very picky regarding Photoshop. It's just basic lang. But it helps. It helps.
You know,
And
go ahead.
I used to work before I did comics. I work in a fast food chain, and then I work in a retail store, and then I was also the person handling the warehouse. And then while I was there, I was learning how to use Photoshop and Corel Draw. And then because of that, I was able to apply at a printing press. And then I was able to learn more. And then I was hired again back in a retail shop. I was doing advertising and visuals. And then a friend of mine gave me a copy of Reader Digest. There was a link on how to make money out of your talent. So I did some comic samples and then I sent it. And one of them is Sean, who hired me. And that's how I started doing comics again back in 2007. So actually, uh, when I was a kid, I really loved comics because my father introduced me to it. And then it was just a dream. It was just because it's before 80s, 90s. If you want to draw comics, you need to go to conventions. So I'm here living in Zamboanga in Mindanao, very far from it, and then we don't have any comic conventions. And then if you want to submit, you have to go to the post office, submit. It's hard. It's hard. But thank you because of internet, it makes drawing comics more easier. So I stopped drawing around maybe late 90s up to early 2000. I did not draw anymore. And then it was until 2007 when Sean hired me. And then he gave me some comic books like the Ultimates. And I was learning again, learning the art of storytelling, learning how to draw. It took me like 5, 6, 7 years to be able to get my style back again. So it's basically work in progress every day. You just need to draw because practice makes permanent.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it is it's not just practice makes perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect. And the thing that
There's
I
no
always notice about you, what's that? I'm sorry.
there's no such thing as perfect.
Yes. Okay. There you go. You put it. As the guy who's actually doing the work, I'm not going to contest that. But
It's better to finish it and not perfect it because if you want to perfect it, you can never finish it.
you know what's interesting? I actually, before I did my live sale today, I've actually been meditating lately, and I find that it just helps to kind of like center my focus and just allow me to kind of find a place where I'm like comfortable. And today, the topic of the meditation that I was doing was perfection and how our constant desire to like seek perfection is actually something that like holds us back, and it's something that doesn't allow us to be creative. So I actually have to say, for the first time, I agree with you 100%. The idea of perfect practice makes perfect was something that I actually learned from martial arts, because in martial arts you can't reach perfection, right? Like even if you're throwing the same punch or the same kick 10,000 times, you might be able to get better at it, but you're never going to really truly perfect it. There's always something to work on. So I guess it's just that idea too. And plus, I guess the idea too is like if you draw something crappy, it can be it could be if you're drawing the same thing crappy 1,000 times, you're not really getting better at it, are you? But you got another question here from Kurt. He's asking, Dexter, do you think Henri can be too picky? I think your mom is too picky.
Picky. What's picky?
And no, he doesn't think I'm too picky. He thinks I'm great and that all the decisions I make are awesome and you shut up. No, but it's an honest question. Feel free to answer.
No, you're not too picky. I think you're a visual writer, and then you have this certain visual that you really want to achieve. Sometimes I cannot picture it yet, so it takes several revisions until we get it right. So it takes time. Sometimes we hit it right away. Sometimes not. Sometimes you have this vision, but you cannot picture it out yet. But this is what I like, but I don't know how to articulate it. So it takes time. It takes time. I'll draw and then only see close. It's almost there. Then bang, you got it. So it's not big. I think he's just a very passionate in terms of the project.
Well, thank you, Raphael is here. We were on his show. Big shout out to
Look what I found.
show here. That's awesome. I love that piece.
I'll send this to you.
But Raphael, I just want to give a big shout out to you, man. You are awesome, and I just don't want to mess up the name of your channel, but I believe it's Bitten Apple TV. Yes, Bitten Apple TV. We were on there last week. Raphael takes good care of creators. He's a creator himself. He's awesome. Kurt's laughing. He finds it funny. Dexter also just wants to make sure that that I'm happy too. He really goes out of his way to do that. And one thing I gotta say I've worked with, in the years that I've worked in comics, there are times where the artist really doesn't like to take direction from the writer. Like they have their own vision for what they want to do. I really appreciate the fact that you're so willing to take direction from me and that you're cool with me providing the layouts, because that certainly does make things easier. And it's not like it's like you're saying, it's not like I always nail it. Sometimes I need you to come in and kind of like fill in that gap, and we have to kind of work together to do it. And it's tricky, especially with where we're getting in Warline too, like into the deep part of that story,
Yes, yes. Oh, anybody wants this?
Yeah, I got this page right here. Actually, there is somebody who wants that page. Edward von Byzantine. You can have original page 31. I don't know why we didn't put that up there. But I suppose if there's a page of Warline that you want, just reach out.
Yeah.
Maybe we could put it up for a much for a less price. That's the first page that showcases boobs in the entire series. It's a key page. You can hang it up in your bathroom next to your cactus.
Is that one you posted for Father's Day?
Oh yeah. That was for our image for Father's Day. I remember when you sent me the draft of that. So the idea of it was the back cover, and this is probably that image that you guys saw that I posted on Father's Day. I guess I'll show you guys the art here in just a sec. Let me just dig it up here. Where is it? Give me just 1 second here, guys. Find this page. There we go. So the artwork for this, which I'm personally really happy with. Just a second here. All right. So, gotta present your computer, load file, new, don't want to do that. Share screen, that's what I want to do. Okay. So if you guys have seen this this page here from what happened there? Is that here? Okay, there we go. So if you guys saw this piece of art yesterday that I posted up on Father's Day, you can see that original artwork there. So the idea is that this is actually part of the back cover of what will be the trade eventually. And this is like kind of like the center part of it. And then there's going to be room for text at the top and the bottom. But the whole point of this image was to show, Warline training his daughter to like carry on his legacy and to do all this stuff. So it's a really cool little piece here. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen here. So yeah, you guys can take a look at that.
Okay, another page. Kickstarter.
So the first and Raphael, you kind of have a point there. There might be some pages here, and honestly, I'll open this up, and maybe we can kind of work something out with anybody who's really interested in obtaining any of these pages. Just reach out to me, and Dexter and I will work it out with you guys. But this page right here is actually the first Berserker here, and this is Berserker the Fifth, who gets into a big fight with Warline in the first couple pages of issue 1. You'll meet him in the preview, and then you'll get the full story of what happens once you read issue 1. Now, Dexter, this is actually, I think, a page that you laid out by yourself, because I think around this period in the book, I kind of left you to come up with your own layouts here. Do you have any memories of working on that page? Anything that stuck out to you? I know it's been a while, but just wanted to see.
You mean this page?
Yeah, this page right here.
I remember this design or this character is based on someone that you knew.
Yes. Yeah. I can tell you guys a story. So, Berserker is actually based on my old boxing coach who was a pretty big influence for me. Unfortunately, he ended up not being such a great guy. He was, trying to get me on steroids and doing a lot of nasty things to the people that he was training. Um, he was just not a really good guy, and he's currently in jail, which is a good thing. But anyway, the character of Berserker is loosely based on him, and so when I say that this book has a lot of personal meaning to me, it's these characters all are based on something. But Berserker's take is also the take on the Berserker was also I wanted to go for more of like a Viking feel for this character. And I was originally kind of thinking of like Dolph Lundgren and his Masters of the Universe outfit, like running a biker gang. That was the original idea for that for that character. But we changed it up, and the whole Viking thing. I mean, like right now, that's a big trend. But not only is it a big trend, it's like that was something that my boxing coach was really into. He was like really into the whole Viking thing. So that was something that we wanted to kind of go at. We wanted to go after, and it was the Berserkers who were the most lethal and violent Viking warriors that existed in history. So that's what we based it on. So Kurt's asking yet another question, and this is a very important question, Dexter. Dexter, what are you drinking?
Water. I don't drink alcohol. Maybe slight from time to time, maybe with only 3% alcohol. That's okay with me.
There you go. That's why Zard is so good, is because he doesn't drink, Kurt. If he started drinking, he'd be drawing like you and I do. Kurt and I, we grew up together, and he always used to make fun of me because, I would draw, and my artwork, I'll show you guys my artwork, sucks compared to Dexter's work. But now that Mac is officially
but I like smoking.
So this was my original. This is my original layout for page 1 of Warline compared to what Dexter did. So you see, Dexter did everything that I wanted him to do, and he made those panels more rectangular. But then I decided to change them and make them circular. But see how he took my crappy art and turned it into what it is. You want to show everybody that page 1 again? Can you bust that out, Dexter? Your page 1, so you can compare it to my crappy art. And it's not crappy art. You shut up, Gert! I drew this and I did a good job! You dumb Gert! I'm good at drawing and being a good comic book guy! Well, you know what? For as bad of an artist as I am, that's how bad Ezra Miller is as an actor playing the Flash. So there you go. I brought it all back to the Flash. Did you see the Flash yet, Dexter?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you like Ezra Miller? Was he your favorite thing about the movie?
Ezra was okay, I think. His alter ego. The others is Ezra, the long hair. He's kind of annoying, very loud. But okay, it's okay. He's not really my Flash. I can't picture him as Flash. I don't know. There's just something off about him.
I agree. It was a total miscast. Like, honestly, the guy who plays him on the WB show, he's way better as Flash. That guy, I can see being Flash. Ezra Miller, it's like, no. That guy needs to be fired out of a cannon. He can't even act his way out of that. So, go ahead, Dexter. You were going to say something.
The movie was okay. It was fun, but maybe I just give it a 7 or 7 out of 10. Uh, Lots of fan service. I don't know.
Yeah, it's putting it lightly. I went off today on my sales show for like a good like 5 minutes. I just ripped into that movie and like really just I I mean, I like. Here's what I'll say. I really like seeing Michael Keaton as Batman, and I understand why people like it. And if anybody who's watching this loved the Flash movie, first off, I just want to say, you're entitled to like anything, and enjoy it. Dexter, that goes to you too, because if you enjoy it, who am I to ruin that experience for you? But me personally, I couldn't stand Ezra Miller. Just could not stand it. And the story didn't make any sense to me. And there was, like you said, a lot of fan service, but the fan service was good fan service. Like seeing Michael Keaton as Batman was awesome. I also like what they did with Supergirl. I thought that was fun too. So
And design wise, I'm not really a fan of the costume. There was no breaker. It was just all red. It looks like naked. Uh, the hell, the, the the mask it looks like a helmet. It's big. I kind of like the Jack Snyder version of Justice League. I think that was a better Flash. Well, effect wise, I think.
did he look that much different in the Justice League movie? Because I didn't really like watch the whole movie.
Uh, I just like uh, I like the visual part. I don't know. It looks better. I think how he ran. I
You,
just cannot appreciate how fast he is in the Flash movie.
you know,
Seems like,
I always. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
he's running in slow motion, which makes sense in physics because he's running too fast. So basically, if you zoom in, it's like running slow. But I prefer if he's running away. I enjoyed better the Quicksilver scene in X-Men.
Yes,
Think
I'm so glad you mentioned that. You see, that was how you did. They did such a better job with that than they did with Fleck. Though the beginning scene, I will say they did a pretty good job with the hospital. You know, when he
yeah,
when he did the
when
thing that he did.
first you have that energy,
Yeah, that
then he
that
was solving the problem.
and the chemistry that Ezra Miller had with the guy selling him his breakfast sandwich was the sexual tension between those two characters was fantastic. that was some real acting right there. But yeah, no, totally. I think the way Quicksilver was handled in the Marvel movie or in the X-Men movies was way better, and that wasn't even. See, that's I don't like the X-Men movies. I think that I'm just not a fan of. I like the first two, and then I liked Logan, and then everything else like I just couldn't care less about.
Same.
Yeah, I remember someone saying online that they really like Days of Our Future Past, but I remember going to the theater and I wasn't particularly a fan of that one.
Me too, me too.
Yeah.
I like X-Men better. I think the second movie.
Yeah, the
Anyway,
second movie was good. Yeah, all right. So getting back to it, tell us about this cover because I think this cover, this was. So here's what happened. See, the way this cover came to be was we did this version of Warline One as an exclusive for conventions. We got the C2E2, and Chuck Pino was over at my house, and I told Chuck, I'm like, we need a 1A cover, like something as our mainline cover for the book. And he's like, all right, cool. Well, here's my idea. How about we have Warline like breaking off like a chain that he's like hurling, and on this chain would be like a big rock, and on it would be like Warline. And I was like, yeah, well, what about Kia? And he was like, well, maybe we don't put Kia. It would just be Warline on the cover. And I was like, all right. So I sent the concept to Dexter, and then he gave me this. And I was like, this is so much like more on point with what I think we need to do for this. And this is one of those cases where I have to say, again, I tip my hat to Chuck because Chuck's always like, give the artist a chance to show you their vision. And this is 100% a vision of Dexter Wee right here. This cover, which is actually up on our Kickstarter right now. And it doesn't just come with the actual page. So you'd be getting this actual page if you make the pledge, but then it also comes with there's another piece to this too. Hey Val, how you doing? We got Val here. So this actually comes with the actual. So when Dexter initially turned this in, I was kind of concerned because it looked like Warline was actually busting through like a meteor or something, and I really wanted it to have more of a brick layer on it. So Dexter, being the awesome artist that he is, went ahead and drew all these bricks on a separate page. So when you get this original art, you're not just getting the original piece of art, you're getting this brick layered piece too. So think of it this way, you're getting the cover at $500, which is a great price for original art, but you're also getting this brick layer and that brick layer. You're getting 3 pieces of art at $600, which again, this is for the original art collector in you out there, and that's why we put just a few pieces up there. But we have them available right now. And again, when you guys pledge for this original art, you're not just helping the campaign out. Money is going directly into Dexter's pocket. He doesn't have to, work and do extra stuff anymore. He's already done the work. All he's going to do is just package these up and ship them out to me. But we're helping out the man here too. And there's a sketch of Warline on the back here too. That is badass. That is really cool. So you guys are getting a lot of bang for your buck with this, which is really cool. So Dexter, we got you for maybe another 12 minutes before we bring this broadcast to an end, because we wanted to make this about an hour. We're about 48 minutes in. I want to give folks a chance to ask you any other questions. Anybody else who wants? Val, I see you're in here. Welcome. We got Captain Mo in here, and he's saying banging work. He's appreciating your work, Dexter. Thank you very much, Captain Mo. And just so you guys know too, any backers who support Warline, even if you're international, we'll still be able to fulfill your orders. We'll just charge you separately for shipping once the campaign's over. Unfortunately, I can't give you a flat rate because depending on where I ship everything to, that can affect the shipping cost, and it can go up dramatically or be cheaper. Who knows? But either way, just know that I'm going to try and save you money no matter what. So, because I hate the fact that you guys have to pay so much for art. So Dexter, you got a question here from Captain Mo. He says, Dexter, who's your biggest artistic influence?
Oh, artistic influence. I don't know if I have the biggest. I think over time you get inspired by a lot of artists. Well, as a kid, I was exposed with Joe Kubert, John Buscema, and then 90s Mark Silvestri. And then I stopped drawing by that time until early 90s when a classmate of mine bought an X-Men comics by Jim Lee. And that's how I was inspired again to draw. Because when I was a kid, I have a cousin who was really good in drawing. So he was kind of like my idol, and I want to be like him. So I started copying comic book art. But it wasn't really too serious. It was just for fun until I saw Jim Lee's art. Then when I graduated grade 6, I bought X-Men issue 4. I think that's
First Omega
Wolverine.
Red.
First Omega Red, yeah. Issue 4, issue 5. For like 10, 20 years, I only have 3 issues of X-Men. Like
Really?
X-Men 3, 4, and 5. And then when I was in high school, those 3 books are always inside my bag. They are like my textbook. So if there's no class, I always pull it out and I just keep on looking at the art and drawing and drawing and drawing. And I remember at the time he has a X-Men card. Remember Jim Lee did an X-Men card? But I don't have the original. It was all bootleg, fake cards, and that also surprised me. Until I only got the original recently. This one.
I remember those.
So Jim Lee, and then Todd McFarlane, the image guys. Well, and then I stopped drawing. I stopped reading comics until early 2000. I think Brian Hitch is fun. Oliver Coipel.
What was it? Brian Hitch's what series?
Ultimates.
Oh, Ultimates. Yeah. You know what? I was doing a dollar bin diving the other day, and I'm building out my Ultimate set. Honestly, Ultimates 1 and 2 is some of the best Avengers story telling like that. It inspired all the movies. The
I
look
agree. I agree. I agree.
you know, your Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, that all comes from Ultimates 1 and 2. That was some great stuff. Especially
I
that
remember. I remember reading that page, and then I was like, I was in awe, surprised, shocked to see Samuel L. Jackson there. And then 2008 came, and then you see him at the post credit. It was wow, dream come true, fanboy moment.
for sure.
I don't know, Ultimate.
So
It was
Dexter, oh, sorry. You were going to say something.
I really enjoyed that book, Ultimates, and also The Authority. Thanks to Sean for giving me those books.
The Authority was really good stuff.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to talk to you about is I noticed that every single time there's a new movie coming out, you always message me and you somehow get a chance to see it before I do. Like it comes out earlier in the Philippines than it does in the US.
Yeah.
So is that what happens? You guys get like bootlegs or something, or does it just come out sooner? Did the adaptation
Actually, they show this movie earlier to prevent it from piracy, from bootleg.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, because
Yeah, yeah.
it's pirated. I remember when I went to Russia, and yes, I was in enemy territory, guys, back in 2003, and that was the year Terminator 3 came out. And I remember I saw Terminator 3 in the theaters, and I'm walking around in downtown St. Petersburg, and they have like copies of bootleg Terminator 3s out there, and I actually bought it. I watched it once, and then that was it. But we have another question for you from Kurt. He's asking, "What's your favorite comic?"
Favorite comic? Mm, I think Lone Wolf and Cub is one. Uh, superhero. I think superheroes. I really like the John Byrne Man of Steel back in the 80s. That was so memorable to me.
Which one? I'm
Uh,
sorry. From John Byrne, Till.
Man of Steel,
Man
the
of
Superman.
Steel. Man of Steel from John Byrne. Okay, cool. So that was the limited series, right? I think it was like 6 or 8 issues, something like that.
During that time, I love reading Superman books. And then, of course, Jim Lee's X-Men. Not for the story, but for the art. Uh, yes. I have so many comics here, and I don't even have time to read.
Well,
Just
here,
yeah.
here's a question for you. Uh, if if you got a chance to work on like a mainstream book like Marvel or DC, which character would you want to work on? Like who would be your go-to?
Okay. For Marvel, well, I think it's either Wolverine or Spider-Man. 'Cause those two are really cool characters. Maybe Captain America. Yeah. X-Men books. They're fun to draw. Well, I like the old costume, the old design 90s compared to now. No offense. Just me, just my personal taste.
Oh, I agree.
For,
I agree.
for DC, the usual, I really love that's my personal dream to draw Superman one of these days. Maybe
It's
I can just
interesting.
do one comic.
What's interesting is like I noticed. I had a feeling you were going to mention that because I noticed that you on your page you have Superman on your like on your main page as like your profile picture.
It's because when I was a kid, when I was 2 years old, the first superhero that I saw is Superman. We have a Superman poster, part one, part two, part three. So I was exposed to him. And then during those time in the 80s, there was only one superhero movie. It's just Superman. Christopher Reeve. And then came the animation. I forgot movie something animation Superman for one season. I really love that. Then 86 came, Man of Steel by John Byrne. So it was just Superman. Until 89 Batman came. So Superman had a really big impact in my life as a kid.
I hear you, man. That's really cool. And you know what? I gotta say, you just got me so excited for the fact that we're bringing you on to finish off Yisun Shin because you mentioned that one of your favorite books was Lone Wolf and Cub. Like that was like your out the door answer here. So for those of you guys who don't know, Dexter's actually, as soon as we're done with Warlion 2, Dexter is going to be coming on to help me finish issues 3 and 4 of Hunter and Destroyer Yisun Shin. So that's issues 11 and 12. And we're going to be working on that straight through. So we're going to take a little bit of a break on Warline. And I hope you guys won't notice a difference. Hopefully Dexter and I will be able to knock out issue 3 of Hunter and Destroyer rather quickly. But issue 4 is going to take a while because like Warline, it's going to be a double-sized book. And it's the final issue of Yisun Shin, so it's going to be really important. And I guess my last question for you before we wrap this up is, I guess, how do you feel about coming on to Yisun Shin? You know, like given that we've established the style and we've had 2 different artists come on, do you feel intimidated coming on, or do you feel confident coming on? Like, what's your feeling about it?
I respect the previous artists. I think they did a great job. I noticed they do. I think it was done digitally, right? The art
Yes.
is digital. Oh, so it's a challenge because I do traditional. So I think art-wise, the lines will be simpler compared to Warlion. Warlion is more like an image era 90s style, very energetic, full of energy, dynamic. So for the challenge with Yisun Shin is it's a historical book, so there will be a lot of details on how to draw the clothings, and then uh, trying uh, to discipline myself not to add too much lines, make it simple, to let the colorist do her magic. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
absolutely. And actually, before keep going, Dexter, I wanted to show everybody something. You guys have actually seen Dexter's illustration of Yisun Shin with this 1B cover variant that we did for Yisun Shin #1. So this is actually illustrated by Dexter. This is his first Yisun Shin image. And actually, Dexter, Giovanni Timpano, our original Yisun Shin artist who worked on the interiors of this issue, he worked using the same traditional style that you do. He uses pencils and boards. He changed up after we got to issue 5 and started doing everything digitally. And then El Arnaclius, aka El Gehring, he was using digital for Fallen Avenger 2 through 4 and Hunter and Destroyer 1 and 2. So it'll be really interesting to see the book return to a more traditional style. I'm really excited to have it.
I'm going to have the same colorist.
Yes, we're gonna have the same colorist. So the same colorist who did this cover and the other cover with Jin. You two are going to be paired together on Yisun Shin. So I'm really excited about that.
Your style is more painterly. It's like a painting.
Yes.
So I need to refrain from adding too much details. Just simple lines.
Exactly. She's going to be, and I'm glad that you noticed that because she really does add so much details. Like if you draw a mountain in the background, you don't really need to draw in all the details in the background. She's going to do all that. You can just kind of like put it up over there so that signify for her that like, hey, but just make sure you have plenty of birds in the sky because every single time you draw a sky in Yisun Shin, there's got to be birds over there. Otherwise, how can you have bird's eye views?
Like John Woo. Yeah, you can heard John Woo movies. You always have
Yes, exactly. Or like Face Off, when Nicolas Cage comes in, you see the pigeons flying over front of the dramatic.
especially that movie, The Killer. Oh man,
Oh man,
The
yeah,
Killer.
yeah. With
Yeah,
Chow Yun Fat, that's some classic action right there.
to him, those birds symbolizes the spirit, the soul of the deceased person. When you kill, bang, you turn to the bird.
Well, Dexter, I want to thank you so much for taking the time for not only showing the art, but giving us a chance to really get to know you. And not only that, giving me a chance to get better acquainted with someone that I work very closely with and admire so much. So thank you for making time, and thank you honestly from the bottom of my heart for everything you're doing on Warline. You've helped me bring this incredible story to life, and it's such an honor and a pleasure working with you, sir.
Likewise, sir.
All right, guys.
Thank you
Well,
also.
oh yes, of course. And Dexter, if there's anything else you want to say to anybody, feel free to say your final words and anything else.
Yeah, thank you for supporting our book, War Lion 1. It's now available in Kickstarter if you want it to get it. Uh, we promise to give more quality pages. Okay, uh, you can you can get the original art like this one. Okay, I'll add some sketches and just thank you for always being there. Thank you for supporting me and Audrey. God bless you all.
You're awesome. So Val is asking, do you have an online account, Facebook or Instagram? And I believe you do.
I
Val,
have, yeah,
I'll drop that link for you, Val, right now. And
I have. I don't use it much. I don't use it much, but I have Instagram, Twitter. It's just Dexter Wee. Very simple.
so, Val, here's a link. And for anybody else too who wants to follow Dexter, if you're ever looking for someone to do a commission for you or anything like that, Dexter's your guy. And feel free to reach out to him. He does incredible work. He's our resident artist now. He's working on both of our signature series. So, Dexter, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I'll let you get back to it because I know you got a lot of other things you got going on aside from Warline pages. You also have other projects that you're working on. So, thank you again. I appreciate everything. And
Thank
have
you.
a wonderful evening. Yeah, take care, man. All right, so guys. That is the end of our broadcast. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. And please support us on Kickstarter. You're not just helping me out, you're helping Dexter out. He just had a kid, and he could obviously use the money, and we would appreciate your patronage. So take care. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys on Wednesday on The Experience for a new sales show. I'm going to go out and do some shopping. So I'm really excited about that. We sold a lot of stuff today on our earlier show, and I'll be back on Friday on the Comic Book Shopping Network. So for now, you guys can catch me on The Experience on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central, and 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing a show from my hotel room in Wisconsin. I'm going to have my kids there, and we're going to have a wacky, fun time going through comics. So I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful evening. Be well, be safe, and take care. Have a good night.